Hey everybody, we have some geraniums in distress, and I'm going to walk you through the steps that we take to try to figure out what the problem is. And that problem, look at those leaves. They are not supposed to be that yellow with the new growth. That's a problem. And so when we see discoloration in the leaves, first thing we think of is it getting enough light? And in this case, yes, it's in the greenhouse, it's getting plenty of light. So we know that's not an issue. Then we go, is it getting enough fertilizer? And these are getting fertilized, so we know that that's not an issue. Sometimes with the pH of our water, a lot of our plants can get an iron deficiency, so we supplement their diet with some iron, but that's not the case here. Usually we see what's called chlorosis. It looks a little different than this, and we know that that's not an issue at this point because we've been treating the water to get the pH to be more neutral, so not an issue there. So then we start thinking about, is it pests or disease? So that becomes a whole nother ball of wax that can be quite stressful, but the most likely culprit is actually right behind me. Can you see that furnace up there? So every time the heat kicks in, it's blowing the hot air right across these geraniums. And if you look at it, you can see the discoloration is happening right along the center area, along the path of where the heat goes. And that can be an issue when you're heating a greenhouse. Now, there are some types of heat that are actually not recommended for greenhouses because they have an exhaust that can be toxic to your plants. This is an industry standard furnace that we have, so it's probably just not liking the heat, might be drying it out. Now there could be some fumes or something that it doesn't like, but we forgot that this exact same variety, we had put it in pretty much the exact same spot last year and had the exact same problem. Why we forgot that, I don't know, so it's got to go into our notes. It's called Rosalie Antique Salmon. It is one of our favorite geraniums from last year. We had just added it. It's got this nice pink color to it. It's kind of a double. They're just starting to pop out. We are pulling off all the blooms though because we don't want them to focus on blooming yet. I have some other geraniums over here that I can show you that are in bloom. And before we pluck off the blooms, I thought I'd show you these two. I'm especially interested in telling you about because when it comes to geranium people, there's people who either love an orangey red or they like a red as they say it. And these two clearly are true beautiful red geraniums, but they're actually not the same. But visually I can't tell the difference. So one of them is a dark red, a Calliope dark red, and the other one is a Calliope red. And when I look at them, if I had to pick one being darker than the other, I'd probably go with this one, but I think it's just actually a newer bloom. And the funny thing is this is just Calliope red. This one over here is Calliope dark red. I don't know why they would even call them that when they look almost exactly the same, but hey, I just want to let you know. So if you're a red person, whether you get the red or you get the dark red, when it comes to Calliopes, not going to be a big difference. Now, the bright scarlet, that's going to be more that orangey red. I hear people refer to that as Mackinac Island red. I don't know what geranium they use at the Grand Hotel, so I'm not going to suggest that that is anything to do with Mackinac Island, but that's what people have told me. This one here is the pink, and there's also a hot pink. None of those are blooming right now, so those tend to be a little more of an intense color. This is more the violet, so that's a real beautiful magenta color. Remember, these flowers are really small right now. They're going to get big kind of domes of flowers. This one here is the Rose Mega Splash. That's our bicolor as well. So I just thought I'd give you a peek at these first blooms. And today is that stormy Saturday that we had. I don't know if you can see it, but the roof of the greenhouse has all kinds of lumps of snow, and probably every 5 minutes or so some big piece slides off. So fortunately it is coming off of the greenhouse, so I'm not going to have to go out there and try to get it to slide off with any assistance. It's doing it on its own, but it's just kind of one of those things. So in this line of work, we're always walking around the greenhouses multiple times a day, looking at the leaves of plants, checking for pests, checking the snow load, making sure all the furnaces are working, and looking for any kind of leaks or anything in our bubbles on the greenhouses or air that's escaping or getting in. I guess it's just part of a day's work around here, but it can be a little exhausting, and when you see stuff like that, you always kind of panic a little bit. But fortunately, this one's an easy fix. Moving them from over there to over there, they're going to be great.